Teachers, a vital part in the lives of millions across the world, spreading knowledge and inspiring passion. But what inspires teachers? What can motivate someone to dedicate their life to teaching others? If you look towards common media, as many do these days, you find superhuman mentor figures, all-knowing and yet unknowable. So we wanted a more grounded approach. To get a teacher's insight, we asked two teachers directly. First, we interviewed Jacob Terberg, one of the newer teachers at Saline High School.
I'll give you a little bit of background. So this is my first year here at Saline High School as a teacher, right? This is my first year teaching anywhere. I'm a special education teacher, and I am also a social studies teacher. And so I end up teaching a lot of our special education students, like different kind of histories and economics and governments.
Then we interviewed Natalie Freeburn, a more experienced teacher.
This is my 17th year teaching. This trimester I teach learning to breathe, and I also teach dynamic relationships. Last trimester I also taught senior strategies.
We then asked Mr. Terberg what got him interested in teaching.
I remember distinctly this time back in middle school, they make you do all those things like, what do you want to do in the future? And you're in 7th grade, you have no clue what you want to do, and I was rushing, I got to find out what I got to do. And then I ended up talking with my 7th grade social studies teacher at the time, who, it turns out lived very close to me. We ended up being very close and everything. And I was so inspired by him. I loved his classes so much that I wanted to go back and I wanted to go into teaching that myself because it was so much fun. I loved the energy. I loved being in school. And then as I went on through school, I just had so many other great examples of awesome teachers. So really, I kind of just wanted to be like them.
After that, we asked them both about the impact of COVID on teaching and how it affected their connection with students.
I think I'm much more intentional about what type of work I collect from students and what feedback I get from them, and because I know that it's still a pandemic. We're still trying to figure out and navigate getting back to normal again, and everyone's at different places. And I think that attendance being an issue and becoming a regular student and relearning how to behave and interact in the classroom, there's been a lot of reteaching in that. And so I've spent a lot of my time focusing on social emotional development and reiterating how to have conversations and be respectful listeners. And that's been probably the biggest challenge.
Using so much technology, I think I would be much more of a paper and pencil teacher now if COVID didn't happen. And I honestly think that it kind of deepens my connection with my students because, I personally grew up using technology. I had a phone in 7th grade. I had an iPod Touch after 7th grade. And so I was just so used to, looking things up online and getting to do my own research and being able to share that again with my students. Even though I'm not using the textbooks and doing these worksheets and stuff, and it's through a screen, I still feel that connection because I'm able to share, my own personal love of technology and connect that way. Yeah.
Next, we asked them what their favorite part of teaching was.
First and foremost, the relationships I have with students, getting to know them, hear their story, understand where they're coming from and where they're at in their personal, social, emotional development. Being a family and consumer science teacher, obviously I care a lot about their well-being and that they have skills and techniques to navigate life. So I think my favorite part is not only the relationships, but then when they come back and tell me about what they've learned in my class and how it's helped them or benefited them in any other way. A lot of times with their mental health or relationships that they have, confidence building, stress management. That's, for me, so rewarding. And I just feel like when I do get to know students in that way and have those connections, it makes me want to show up every single day.
Helping teach students and kind of getting to share on and pass on my knowledge. And it's a really rewarding job. I get to make differences in the lives of students every single day, and I usually go home with a smile. So I really love it.
During COVID, I met with quite a few colleagues in a Justice Leader group where we talked about teaching and equity in teaching and how the impact that we have with students. And I'm just always so blown away and impressed by the compassion and the drive and the love for students. It's a constantly raising the bar of, okay, what more can I do too? And they always inspire me to show up and do better.
Just getting to show up every day, working with the same people, growing with the same people. I mean, like, I love the students and I love my coworkers too. Like, getting to talk with my fellow teachers and talk with them, like, strategies to help with students, just even getting closer to them, like asking them how their lives are going. Like, I love the social aspect of school.
Next, we asked Mr. Turberg about what character, fictional or non-fictional, inspires him.
Someone that I've always wanted to be more like is honestly Uncle Iroh from the Avatar series. I am personally a very energetic, animated person, and I have always loved how Uncle Iroh is this calm guy. He knows how to be funny, he knows how to enjoy things, but when it comes down to it, he is there for his people. And I've always kind of wanted to be that, just someone where people can go to and they can feel comforted, they can feel safe. Yeah, definitely Uncle Iroh. A little bit the Magic School Bus, but like that's just for the fun side of teaching.
After that, we learn about Ms. Freeburn's new teaching and grading style.
I've really tried to incorporate a lot more discussion-based, small group-based conversations because we were so out of practice in the last couple of years that it just got really awkward. And I noticed the students were really feeling that, and they needed some non-threatening ways to regain their confidence in that in the classroom. This year I've started moving into a different type of a grading style. It's called ungrading, and it's been a love-hate relationship because I'm able to spend time one-on-one with students. They have to provide evidence that they've earned a certain grade, and we have conversations about what they've done to earn that grade, and they're so brutally honest for the most part, and pretty much like spot on.
Next, we asked them about social emotional connections with students.
So being a teacher who spends 2 weeks every trimester talking about emotions, I hope they feel comfortable talking to me about things, but I always do tell my students I'm not a therapist, I'm not a counselor, but emotions are real, they're valid, people experience them, and they change not only like daily, but within a day. So I'm hoping that if they're ever having a hard time, that they feel comfortable saying, hey, I'm having a rough day.
I know that we're here to help out with help you learn educationally and help you, grow as learners, but the main goal of teaching is to make sure that all of our students are happy, healthy, and safe in our classrooms. And so, yeah, I definitely think that teachers should be there, emotionally for students. I graduated high school really not too long ago, and so I was in, a similar position to a lot of my students, and I always appreciated when teachers, when I talked to them about something or when something was going on in my life, they were there for me too. Yes, I really do think teachers should be there emotionally for their students.
Lastly, we asked them about what should change in the future of teaching.
I think that teachers should really try and get involved in the something extracurricular with students. I mean, I personally, I'm coaching 2 sports, and I'm involved in a club at the middle school, so I'm very involved. But I think that even if teachers could find one club to sponsor, one sport to be a part of, or just something, it really deepens your relationship with students. You just get to know them on a different level, and I think that that's what, being a teacher, being in schools, that's what it's all about. It's about learning, but it's about kind of just growing as a person as a whole.
Gosh, if we had more hands on deck. I know this is a tough question. I think every person who is here in the building is doing the best they can. I think that if we had more people, more teachers, smaller class sizes, more one-on-one attention with students, if we had more support staff too, even counselors and social workers to help students deal with some of the stuff that they're going through, instead of feeling like they're being just moved through their day, where they can take a break, address it, feel it, and go back to their day when they are ready to learn. I think we could use more of that.
A lot of my friends, right, I'm very, they're a bunch of nerds, but they're very smart guys, right? A lot of my friends, they all wanted to go into engineering and stuff like that because that's where the money was. I love teaching thanks to teaching and everything, but I think that we would get even better teachers, we would get more dedicated teachers, honestly, if we were paid more. Like, teaching is a job, just like being a doctor, an engineer, or a lawyer, and to make sure that we get the best people here, like, I think it's gonna involve paying people more. I mean, obviously I wanna get paid more, but like, I really do think that like, it has to be competitive.
In conclusion, teaching is a rewarding yet difficult job that requires hard work and dedication. At the same time, it is a rare opportunity to create an impact on the lives of students every day.
Okay, listen, when you're a substitute teacher, when you work for the tech team, snow days don't exist. So I had snow days here in Saline that got called off where I still had to work or I didn't get paid. Now that I'm a teacher, heck yeah, I want more snow days.
Never too many snow days. Actually, that's not true. There are there was a couple years back where it was like a couple of weeks. But no, I don't think there's too many. This life we can build it right, unstoppable, it's now. We taste the future fast. Unstoppable, it's now. We taste the future fast.